Good morning, guys. Good morning. All right, I like the spirit. Isn't this a great Saturday morning in Tampa?
Yeah.
I thought so. And it's a Saturday morning, and I know you guys got a lot of things that you could have been doing, but you chose to be here. So I'm going to make sure, hopefully this is not boring. They asked me today to talk about leadership. And, and I was thinking about how do you talk to you guys about leadership, because I generally speak to old guys like me. And how do you talk to young people? And I thought about in the ancient Greek times when young men became of age, and it was young men, the warriors at the time, they would go to the stadium and bang their drums and their spears and their arrows and yell at the old guys that they were going to be the new generation. And the old guys used to say, "Where you are, I was. Where I am, you'll come. May your journey be better than mine." So I thought about telling you about my journey. And for those of you that wonder, old guys are not born old guys. I was that chubby little kid up there. And it is a black and white picture. You know why? Because 45 years ago, that's what they had, black and white pictures. And I was a teenager, watch, cool mustache, 18 years old, hanging out with the girls. I went through that phase, but eventually I had to grow up and have a family and have a life of my own. So today I want to kind of tell you about what that life was and what I learned over the years. So who am I? My name is Chuck Papageorgiou.
Hi, Papageorgiou.
And I've been around the block a few times. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a businessman. I write a blog, I write articles for magazines. I spend a lot of my time thinking about leadership and leading things. And it's interesting, depending who you talk to, I'm either a managing partner of a company, I'm a chairman and CEO of another company, I'm Zoe and Nikki's dad, according to all my kids' friends. I don't have a name, just Zoe and Nikki's dad. And I'm a board member, and I'm a fixer. I fix companies. But I've been around the block. I'm not just that. I've done a few things over the years. How many of you want to guess how many countries I've been to or I've done work in? Go ahead.
50.
Dang, that's pretty close. 47.
Oh, yay.
I've been to 47 countries. I've been in every state in the United States. I've been and done business in over 100 cities in the United States. So I know a thing or two about how people work all over the world. I spent time in the military. I was one of those cool guys that you see with the headset running around protecting people. I was a surgeon protecting a general. I went to college, got a degree in engineering. I've done all kinds of things. I've run anything from 5-person startup companies to companies with 11,000 employees all over the world. So I have been around the business side of leadership. But in my personal life, hey, I'm not just all work, right? I do things. How many of you heard of mixed martial arts? Oh, cool. Well, I've been doing it for 30 years. Ranked, fought in professional fights. So I've been around that block too. So I know what it's like to lead in a very physical organization. So, been around the block a few times. I think I'm a pretty okay old guy. So maybe I have a thing or two to teach you today and share. So I'm going to talk about leadership, tell you what I think about leadership, and hopefully give you some thoughts that you can apply as you get out of high school into college, moving forward. So what I'd like you to do is close your eyes. Close your eyes. I'm going to say a word, and I want you to think of the first person that comes to mind when I say that word. And the word is leader. All right, open your eyes. How many of you thought of a woman? Good. How many of you thought of a man? How many of you thought of a business person? How about an evil person? So you see all those people up there? The Queen of England is a leader. Oprah Winfrey is a leader. Bill Gates. Barack Obama, George Bush, Nelson Mandela. They're all leaders, right? But they're all the young, the men and women. A leader is what you are to other people. You could be any one of those things. You could be a good person. You could be an evil person. What you do with leadership is what the difference is all about. So what I want to talk about today is about leadership. What it is that you provide to other people. As a leader growing up, what are you going to do for other people so that you can actually lead them? So leadership is about skills and attitudes. Now I can spend, and I've done it, well I'll spend 2 days in a meeting with 100 business people talking about leadership, trying to explain and understand how do you lead in a company. But we don't have 2 days, probably 20 minutes. And you guys will be bored out of your mind if I spend 2 days talking about leadership. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to spend just enough time to give you what I think are the 3 important skills you got to have about leadership and the 3 important attitudes you got to have. Because it is about skills and attitude. And then your job, growing up, moving out of high school, moving into college, is to develop those skills and make sure you choose the right attitudes. So, what are the fundamental skills? Well, the first thing is choice. Because choice is a skill. You have to learn how to choose. How many of you heard the expression, choose wisely? What do you think that means? Easy, right? Choose wisely. Well, what does that mean? It means that when the time comes that you have to come to a decision, you have to apply your noggin, use your brain, and think about why you're making a decision. Because if you don't, you're going to drift along. Any of you read Alice in Wonderland? Sure you all did, right? She comes to the crossroads, and there sits the rabbit with a clock, right, the pocket watch. And she says, "Rabbit, which way should I go?" And the rabbit says, "Which way do you want to go?" And she says, "I don't know." And the rabbit says, "Then it makes no difference which way you go." So if you don't know why you're going somewhere, and you're going to come to a lot of crossroads as you get out of high school and into college, you got to know why. So you got to learn how to choose wisely. And you got to choose things like, and let's use leadership for example, the basic 6 questions that you're going to have to choose. And by the way, those 6 questions apply to everything you do in life. Why am I going to do what I'm going to do? So let's pick leadership. Why do you want to lead? Well, find something you're passionate about, right? Find something you care about. Find something that means something to you, and that's why you want to lead. You will be surprised how many people I see in leadership positions like, why are you doing that? I don't know. Well, remember the rabbit? Well, if you don't know why you're doing it, it makes no difference what you do with it, right? So why are you doing it? What are you doing it? What are you going to lead? The first thing you have to lead is yourself, right? Then you got to decide, I want to lead a team? Do I want to lead a company? Do I want to lead a country? Do I want to lead a movement? Movement leaders, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, they led a movement. Different kind of sets of skills than Bill Gates, who led a company. Different set of skills than George Bush, Barack Obama, Clinton, all those other people that lead countries. Different set of skills. So you got to know, what are you going to lead? How do you want to lead? Well, you need to lead how you want to lead. A lion doesn't try to be a lemming. A rose doesn't try to be a radish. And a shark doesn't try to be a sardine. I'm a shark. I'm the kind of person that, in a good way, I don't stop moving. If I ever had to stop moving, like a shark, I'd die. You know that? You know that if sharks stop moving, they die? I would never be happy leading anything that requires me to sit still and wait for things to happen. So would I ever choose to lead an organization like that? What do you think? No, I'd be bored out of my mind. The next thing you got to decide is, who do you want to lead? Do you want to lead people like you? Whatever the you is, your tribe? Do you want to lead other high school students? Do you want to lead the jocks? Do you want to lead the geeks? Do you want to lead the people that are too smart? What do you want to lead? Who? Who's your tribe? You got to decide that, right? Maybe you just want to lead the world. Well, that's a big tall order. So who do you want to lead? And then when? Sometimes if you try to lead too early, you don't do very well. If you wait too long, the opportunity passes you around. So you got to decide. You guys are all leaders. You're the leadership councils, right? So when do you want to lead? Some of you started now. But what about later? What about after high school? Some people lead when there's no one else. Oops, there's nobody else left, so I'm going to lead. And that's okay too, right? That's a strategy. And the last thing is where. People today lead on the internet. I mean, they don't lead in the traditional way, but they write articles, they write opinions, they write blogs that make people think, right? So some people lead on the net. They have Facebook followings, and they tweet things, and people actually do something because of that. That's one place to lead. But then, maybe some people want to lead at your church, at your high school, anywhere else that you want to lead. So choice is a skill, and it's an important skill. And if you learn to choose well, you will have a much more effective and efficient way of leading, and you'll be a lot happier. You know what's that old saying? Give a man a fish, you fed him for a day, right? Teach a man to fish, and then he's got to buy a fishing rod, a fishing reel, a GPS. No, I'm sorry, no, that's me. Teach him how to fish, you fed him for a lifetime. So that's the first skill, learn how to choose. The next skill is communicate. Because at the end of the day, if you have an idea, και αρχίσεις να μιλάς ελληνικά και κανένας δεν καταλαβαίνει τι λέεις.
Σχεδόν κανένας.
What? Who? What? I was a very clear statement. It just happened to be in Greek. Well, if you don't know Greek, if I can't communicate with you, totally wasted the good message I was going to deliver, right? So communicate effectively. Be able to deliver your ideas so other people can understand them. Take this, for example. Abraham Lincoln was able to capture and communicate a message in a time where the country was barely forming, and deliver a strong message with just an opening statement that captures everybody's attention. So his ability as an orator was absolutely unparalleled. Winston Churchill, if you ever read anything about Winston Churchill, he was a grumpy old man who liked his scotch and his steaks and his cigars. But when he got out there, he knew and he believed that he had confidence that they were going to come through anything. And that got across to his audience. President Reagan, the great communicator. You know, if you guys are too young to have actually listened to him speak, or maybe you have as part of your civics classes, but when he spoke to you, you thought it was like, oh, that's like the nice uncle everybody wants to have. And just everybody wants to be listened to. President Clinton, when he walked into a room, it was like he knew everybody. He was surrounded, you know, the most powerful man in the world, right? The President of the United States, and he would walk into a room and he would connect with people. So his message always got communicated. So choose wisely, learn how to communicate. And the last skill set is a dual combination of motivate and inspire. So let me ask you something. Do you think you can motivate anybody?
Yeah.
No, wrong. You cannot motivate anybody. All you can do is set the environment so they motivate themselves. And if you think about what motivates people, there's 4 things: family, fame, fortune, and fear. Look at those distributions up there. Everybody has a little bit of everything. That's me up there. You know, I'm equally motivated by my friends, my family, my network, as I am by money. You know, if you try to give me an environment to be motivated because I'm going to be on TV, yeah. Been there, done that. Not interested. That's not a motivating environment for me. And if you have a motivating environment that scares me, yeah, that doesn't work either. So think about what motivates you. Because if you don't know what motivates people, you can't set up the environment. So if you get a whole bunch of people that all they care about is their friends, their family, and do good in the world, and you're going to build a company where they're going to make millions of dollars, do you think you're going to have a motivating environment for them? Right? No, they don't care. Now, if you get the same exact group of people and you tell them we're going to stop hunger, we're going to stop the suffrage of women in Africa, we're going to stop whatever disease somewhere in the world, will you have a motivating environment for them? Right? So think about that. So figure out what motivates people, what motivates you, and that's the first thing, the skill set you have to develop. And then develop the environment so other people can be motivated. And then inspire. Inspiration is about setting an environment and a vision where other people can be passionate about that. So, inspire to achieve, to get something, to make people successful. And now remember the first one, motivating, right? Success is defined differently by different people. I have friends of mine that can be millionaires. They're brilliant. They got ideas, and they got software skills, and they got technology skills that if they really decided to actually make money, they could be millionaires. But they just don't want to do that. The definition of success is, I have a nice life. I have every gadget, man ever created. I wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning, work until 3 o'clock in the next morning, and I do whatever I want. To them, that's success. So inspiring those people to achieve success is one different way. I work with a group of partners of mine, and I have one guy that he's successful if he solves a problem. So I make it my point to find a problem every couple of weeks. Hey, we got a problem. And he's like, oh, I'll go fix it. That's his inspiration. Inspired to change. You guys all want to change the world, and if you don't want to do it now, wait till you get to college. Everybody wants to change the world. But you got to change the world where your friends and the people you're going to live in. If you want to change the world of millionaires and you're in sub-Saharan Africa, yeah, not so much. Now, if you want to change the world of people that live in Florida, and you want to change the world of everybody that lives in Florida, maybe you'd be in politics, right? Different worlds. Define what the world's in. So that's the actual skills. Now there comes the attitudes. And there's an old saying that attitude determines your altitude. Your attitude determines how high you're going to go. So choose wisely. In the words of the great Jedi Master Yoda, do or do not. There is no try. So the first choice, the first attitude you have to get is one of getting things done. Do. Don't sit back, young Skywalkers. Do. And the other thing about doing things is the way, and remember this, because this is important. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you get up in the morning and it takes you an hour to get started because you're not motivated to face the day, guess what? You get to your study group and it takes you an hour to get started because you're not motivated to get starting. You get to work, and it takes you an hour to be productive because you're not motivated to do that. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you're always looking for a shortcut in your studies, guess what? When you get to work, what do you think you're going to do? You're always going to look for the shortcut. So the way you do anything is the way you do everything, and that applies to leadership. The next thing is choose principles or convenience. Because let me tell you something. Right now you're relatively young. You don't deal with money issues. You don't have to earn a living. You're not put in situations you have to make real big moral decisions. But at some point, you get out of high school, you will. That's just the nature of life. You're going to have to make some decisions. And you got to decide what your principles are. What are the things that you stand for? Because people, in order for you to lead them, they need to know what you stand for. Those happen to be mine. I won't lie. Well, unless when my wife says, honey, do I look nice? What's the answer, guys? Yes. Always, right? So that's a little bit of a shady thing, but integrity is one of my values. Equality. I work with men, women, black, white, yellow, green, purple people. I work with everybody. Straight, gay, I don't care. At the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, everybody's equal when they get praise and when I get really mad at them. I don't care. Everybody gets treated equally. I respect people. You know, even an idiot sometimes has a nugget of wisdom. They might be an idiot, but every now and then, if you respect them, they'll give you a nugget of wisdom. So being disrespectful is not an excuse. And I work in organizations where I actually fired people because they were disrespectful. And my last one is commitment. You don't know me, but in the business world, and that's another one of those things you're going to find as you get older, there's something called your reputation. Now, you guys right now don't have one. If you think you do, yeah, you don't. Wait till you're out there, and your reputation is all about who you are. So my reputation is, if I shake hands and walk away on a deal, all hell can break loose. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. So those are my principles, and I never violate them. I had cases where, and this might sound foreign to some people, but I had cases where I could have made a lot of money. Not tens of thousands of dollars, but hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars, and I walked away rather than compromise my integrity. So guess what? Decide what your principles are and keep to them. Stick with them, even when it's not convenient. The next set of attitude is caring or apathy. Because if you want to lead people, they got to know you care. Because if you don't care, guess what? They know it. And at some point, they're going to call you a fake. I'll give you an example. Customers, constituents, supporters. If you don't care for them, that means you don't follow through. That means everything you say, it's hollow. That means that, you talk about, we love our customers, but then you turn around every chance you get and you screw them. Take money from them, charge them, give them bad products. Caring over apathy, it's very important. Now, those are the things I care about. Figure out, what do you care about? A friend of mine asked me once to get involved with a professional athletic team. I won't tell you the sport. And I looked at him like, really? Really? I could care less about sports. I am totally apathetic unless it's got an octagon. Then I care. But I could care less about football, baseball, soccer, volleyball, basketball. Do you really want me to be involved in leading a team of sports? I'm going to be apathetic. And I'll make what? A lousy, terrible, ineffective leader. So pick what you care about carefully and then care about it. And today, in today's world, things are changing. Leadership, when you guys are out there starting to lead the world, because you are, and you will. You didn't get here today being part of the leadership councils because you don't care. You guys are the future leaders, right? You're going to go out there and lead the world. The world is changing. In the past, you were able to have secrets. You know, presidents that had disease, that wasn't a president that was in a wheelchair, nobody really knew about it. Well, guess what? What's the likelihood of that happening today? What do you think? Zero. That's right, zero, right? In today's world, it's open. Everybody knows everything. In the world of WikiLeaks, there is no secrets. So tomorrow's leaders have to be able to be open and understand they're going to live in a world that's wide open. Mass messages, that's going away too. 50 years ago, you had one message for the Republican Party, one message for the Democratic Party. And that's about all you needed because the masses were happy with that. What about today? Just think in the political parties in the United States today. There is no one message for the Republican Party. There's no one message for the Democratic Party. There's messages for what? Specialized individual groups, right? That's what you got to be open to, that your message has to talk to individual groups. Back then, if you knew the 5 publishers or the 5 major newspapers and the 10 money guys in every state, you would get elected president because that's all you needed to know. They could control things. What about today? What do you think? Does that work today? What do you think? No, right? Because today somebody goes on the internet and starts a campaign. It's wide open. Back then, if you were the governor of Florida, you really didn't care about Idaho. If you were the president of the United States, maybe you cared a little bit about sub-Saharan Africa or the Middle East. What about today? Can you be a leader and not care about what's going on around you? No. What do you think that's going to happen in the future as the world gets smaller? How many of you know about the uprisings in Egypt? No. The Arab Spring, right? Guess what? 50 years ago, that wouldn't have even made the news. And you guys today check it out on your iPhones and your iPads and your, on the browser and all kinds of different things. So be aware. Global awareness is the one thing that changes leadership in the future. And, I said a lot of things. But I want you to remember just 3 words, 3 sentences. If you just listen to me and say, oh, yeah, just another old guy talking, that's fine. Remember these 3 things behind me, because these are the 3 things that will be the one set of things you do that's going to get you to a leadership position. Be good at what you do. If you're going to be a journalist, be a damn good journalist. If you're going to be a mechanic, be a good mechanic. If you're going to be a financial analyst, be a financial analyst. And everybody knows you're good at what you do. Because if you're not good at what you do, forget about trying to be a leader. Second thing, do the right things. Do the things that are important, that mean something. Because if you do the right things, people are going to say, they're pretty good at what they do, and they do the right things. And lastly, be known for helping others. Because remember, a leader is what you are to other people. So if you're a helpful person and you do the right things all the time and you're good at what you do, you almost rise to the top by default and you become the leader. Those are the 3 things that, if you remember nothing of what I said so far, write them down and remember them. Be good at what you do the right things, and be known for helping others. And in closing, I want you to remember this. Don't sit there. Don't just sit there. Pick one. Lead, follow, or get the heck out of the way. And that's my message. And I hope it means something to you. And thank you for paying attention.